Okay, I think this is on. Good morning, everyone. This is Nurse Sam coming live to you from Sleepy Dog Veterinary, and today we're going to be showing you a cranial sacral demo, and hopefully some things that you can use at home for your own pets. This is my dog Bowie, aka Bobo, who's going to be helping me today. So I've been training in cranial sacral therapy for the last couple months, and I'm super excited about it because as much as I love massage, this is definitely a different type of technique that you can use at home that I think is a lot gentler, especially for older, more sensitive souls. So I'm going to show you a couple different techniques that I love to use on our patients here that are easy to use at home, that are great for releasing the spine, the neck that tends to hold a lot of attention, and the sacrum. And I also love it too because I think it works with, the body's own ability to know what it needs to heal itself. And it's a pretty intuitive practice. So you kind of really get to tune in with your own animal, which I think is so fun, and let them tell you what they need. So I think we start every single treatment here at Sleepy Dog by observing the patient. That starts from the moment that we get your little guy or gal outside. We're watching their gait, how they're walking. Are they limping? Are they lifting a paw? Are they moving their neck properly? Are they hunching their spine? I mean, we are looking for all kinds of things from the moment we see them, because it honestly tells us so much and where we might start our physical exam. So Bowie obviously is relaxed. Actually, she's relaxed on our PEMF mat, which we love here at Sleepy Dog. We use this with all of our patients now, which has been so great, and it's great for inflammation and pain relief and also anxiety. And clearly Bowie is enjoying it. But so I know Bowie isn't walking around, but usually, when I observe her, she is a bully type. So all dogs put more weight in the front of their body. Oh, by the way, this applies to cats also. All of these protocols I'm about to show you also apply to cats, which is super exciting. And we do the same thing with cats as soon as they come out of the carrier here. So Bowie holds a ton of weight in the front of her body. Her head is pretty large and in charge, and does a ton of work for her, which means she holds a lot of tension in her neck. So the front of her body definitely needs a lot of releasing. And then also when she does walk, she does tend to sway her hips a lot. So she often needs some good releasing in her hind end, but she's also pretty young still, so I'm lucky she doesn't have a whole lot of issues to work with yet, but still benefits from cranial sacral massage. So after the observing, the first thing you want to do with cranial sacral work is tune into the animal. And I personally love this because it makes, when I do it at home with Bowie, it kind of settles us both, and we both get to kind of tune into our own energy and vibration and see where we're at. So with cranial sacral, they recommend that you gently kind of just start petting your animal, tuning in with their energy, and you can refer to it as anything you want. So, for me, I tune into the energy. I feel the vibrations of the animal. Some people kind of feel heat on the body or potential, areas of tension throughout the muscle. It's whatever you want it to be. But I'm just kind of tuning in and feeling. And Bowie definitely has what I can feel, some tension behind her shoulders today. And she's got some heat in her lumbar spine. And sometimes during my course, they even tell you just to kind of gently put your hand on the top of the animal's head if they'll allow you, and it's not offensive. I know that can be offensive to some. And you can kind of just gently close your eyes and take some deep breaths with them. And as you do this, you can kind of feel a slight hum at the top of their cranium. And if you don't feel it, that's okay too. See, Bowie thinks that's kind of offensive. But But it's just a nice way to check in with yourself, see where you're at, take some deep breaths with your pet. And once you feel tuned in and they feel ready, the first thing that we move to is the atlas release, which is C1. So it's the top of the cervical spine. So that's right. If you want to find their skull and then slowly move down, it's right at the base of the skull. It actually holds, its job is to hold the skull, which is amazing. So it does a ton of work. So you want to put your hand on either side, and then you always want to gently support the opposite of where your hand is, so the animal doesn't have to think about holding their body up in any type of way. So I'm going to gently place it under Bowie's throat and gently push down. And I'm just going to hold and watch for releases from her. And I'm going to let her move her head however she wants, because she's telling me that she intuitively knows where she wants to move. Good girl. And some movements will be more subtle, so I often look for eye blinking, yawning, which I know a lot of people associate with stress, but I think it's situational. She's kind of closing her eyes for me. She will also let out grunts. She's a verbal releaser. You can look for lip licking too. I'm just kind of waiting for her to settle. Okay, I'm going to come out and I'm going to go back in and check in again. You can also use the heel of your palm if they'll allow it. Kind of gently push. It's light pressure. So Bowie actually prefers when I use my fingers, so I'm going to go on either side again and gently push. I don't know if you can see her face, but she's kind of gently closing her eyes. And you can either hold until you feel like the animal's releasing, or if you kind of have more of a sensitive soul at home that's maybe more tender, you can hold for like 8 to 10 seconds. Good girl. Next, we're going to release the rest of the cervical spine. So after you feel satisfied with the atlas, depending on the size of the dog too. So with Bowie, I'm actually going to use my thumb and pointer finger and go along her entire spine. And now she's laying down too, so I'm not going to support underneath her throat anymore because the ground is supporting her. So on either side of her spine, I'm going to gently just push. Apply light pressure. Cranial sacral is very light compared to regular massage. And I would say traditional massage, they use a word, like manipulating all the time. So you're manipulating the muscles. It's much more intense. This is very much about going with the own flow of your body. And I think, regular massage has its benefits, but not everyone can tolerate it. And I've also noticed if I warm the body up with cranial sacral work, you tend to be able to get deeper into the tissues and the fascia, which is pretty amazing. So Bowie's just doing a lot of blinking and kind of moving her own head. No yawning today. She is giving me a little bit of snorting. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And then I'm going to gently move down. Oh, and Kathy said Mac likes it. Oh, yay, I'm so happy. If anyone has any questions, too, as I'm going along, please feel free to ask me, and I'll try and look. Okay, she just gave me a nice huff, so I'm going to move down to her next vertebrae. Good job. So her kind of looking up is telling me that this is actually a more tender area. She's communicating with me right now, looking back at me, letting me know, hey, Mom, that's a little bit more tense than the rest of my cervical vertebrae. So I'm not going to go as hard. We're just going to wait for the release. There we go. Oh, and she just gave me a nice snort. Nice. So also, if your animal doesn't like your forefinger and your thumb, you can definitely use the heel of your palm, but just go super gentle. You never want to push hard on those vertebrae. That can be pretty tender. If anything, I would go alongside it. Good job. Okay, so next we'll move to the thoracic release. And again, it depends on the size of the dog, but you can either use both the heels of your palm and go alongside, or you can use your forefingers. So I'm going to actually use the heels of my palm because Bowie seems to like that more today. Going to gently just move down slowly, just like the cervical spine. And if your dog is standing up or your cat is standing up, definitely put your hand under their belly to support while you do this. So you can kind of just, you would have your hand under here and then you would push on the spine from the top. So I prefer the two-hand method, but you can do it with one if you need to support the bottom. Good girl. And she's looking back at me again as we get closer to her lumbar spine, which is, I know, where she holds an area of tension. Okay, and when you feel satisfied with the thoracic release, we're going to move down to the lumbar, so same thing. So you know you've come to the lumbar spine when you've reached the last rib, and then come up. So I'm actually going to use my fingers for this one. I'm paying attention to Bowie. And sometimes I think if you're only using one hand, keeping your second hand on them is kind of a comfort, can be nice. Nope, we hit a good spot. She just took a big sigh, so I'm going to move down to the next spot. And I know this all looks subtle, but we are doing a lot of good work here. Oh, and that was a nice little stretch. I don't know if you guys were able to see that. So that tells me there was a good release. I'm going to move down again. Oh, and another big sigh. All right, gonna move down one more. And next we're gonna move to the sacral release, which is the hip area. And animals really tend to love that one. Okay, since Bowie is still laying down, I will do this with her laying down. But if your animal's standing up, just make sure you put one hand underneath their hips. And then one palm goes to the top of their hip. So you actually go down their spine. And then when you hit their hip, you'll feel almost like a little divot. And that's where you want to push. So with Bowie, she's a smaller dog. So I'm going to use my fingertips and just gently push. And she's getting some nice floor support right now, so I don't need to support her. Oh. That's a good release, Bobo. Okay, I'm going to come out, and then I'm actually going to do the heel of my palm now. So I'm going to go and find that divot within the hip and apply light pressure. And watch for Bowie's response. So she's actually shifting her body weight a little bit. So in order to support what I'm doing up here, I'm actually going to slide my hand underneath and just make sure that sacrum is supported while I release it. All right, good job. So next we're going to do some leg unwinding. I love this too because this also brings back to the animal kind of being intuitive and telling you what they need. So I'm actually going to ask Bowie to sit up. Bubba, can you sit up? Oh, I know. Okay, so for the leg unwinding, you want to be able to support your pet's body. So, because you're going to be lifting up each leg and holding it how they want you to hold it, and then letting them move how they want it to move, and then letting them place it back down. And when they place it back down, that means you're done. So it's kind of letting the body intuitively unwind. So I'm going to support Bowie on her chest and then lift up her front leg. And this is all I'm doing. I'm just kind of gently holding it for her. She wants it to go back, so I'm letting it go back. Okay, good job. We're going to move to the other side just to be even. I know you guys can't really see this one. Sometimes you can kind of gently guide their legs in a circular motion just to kind of get them to intuitively decide what they want. Bowie is a pretty sleepy patient, I would say. My patients are usually much more active and have much more opinions on what they want and where they want their legs to go. So I'm just going to finish up with her back legs here, gently supporting under her sacrum and lifting that leg. And I'm also lucky, Bowie really doesn't have any injuries yet, so she's not going to be as opinionated about where she wants things. Although she has plenty of opinions in her daily life with me. Okay, and then she kind of subtly just told me that she wanted that to go down. Then we're going to do some shoulder releases. So this can be done laying down or standing up, or sitting, as Bowie would like to do right now. So you gently, I actually prefer if they want to lay on their side just because, you know, intuitively you can stretch more. But since Bowie wants to stand, that's okay too. So I gently just like to take my fingers, again, it depends on the size of the dog, but take your fingers, it can even be 2 for a smaller dog or cat, and gently pull the shoulder back. And Bowie's actually going to do a nice stretch the other way, so that's perfect. And again, looking for the same signs, blinking, lip licking, yawning, shifting of the body. Ooh, that's intense, huh? Good job. I'm just going to gently do the other side so I'm even with her. Just gently pulling the scapula back. Oh, that was a nice big sigh. Good job. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to show you is called a tail unwinding. And Bowie does not have much of a tail, although she does have a nice little black dot to show you. But basically, you can come to the hips and the sacrum, and then find the base of the tail and gently put your pointer finger and your thumb on either side, and gently traction it out. I'm barely putting any pressure there. Oh, Bowie says, oh, that feels funny. Good job. But I find, you know, that's an area that really compresses the vertebrae down there, so the dogs really do enjoy this release. And I think it makes a huge difference on their hips and their entire spine. Good job. Okay, she just gave me a huff that she is done. Okay. That is it for the cranial sacral demo. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to email us or comment on this post, and I will do my best to answer you. Yeah, everyone have a great day, and thank you so much for joining. All right. Bye, guys.